Okay, so I got cut off on the last one, but I'll bring it back in here. This one, part 2, if you will, shouldn't be too long. So these, I'm going to leave the edges white because I'm going to edge them with white beads and white thread. But these, I'm going to take a Sharpie and kind of color this edge purple, because purple beads on the edge, and then I'll use probably like a light purple faceted round fire polish bead for the edging. And so I just use Sharpies, try to find the one that's like the closest to the color on the edge, and then really carefully go along here. I don't try to get every little bit because you can wind up with Sharpie on the beads, and that's not what I want. So just kind of lightly. And this part isn't like super important. This is just for like a more cohesive look when you're looking closely. You know, from a distance, you wouldn't be able to tell that this was done. Like if you're wearing them, obviously you're not going to notice it, and people aren't going to notice it on the earrings that you're wearing. But I don't know, it's just kind of a nice touch for your own personal, like when you're looking at them, you know, when they're hanging on display, you know, because earrings aren't just for when you're wearing them, they're for all the time. Like I don't keep my earrings in a jewelry box. I have a rack that's out so I can see them all the time, you know. Because if you have a couple dozen pairs of earrings, like you could only wear one at a time really, but you can see them all the time, and they just kind of bring a little joy, a little happiness, a little punch of color to your day. So I don't know. That's one. Like in the comments below, how do you store your earrings? Where do you keep them? Are they in a jewelry box? Are they in a bowl or on a tray or hanging somewhere? Everybody does it different, you know? And so I'm going to sit that down and let that dry for a minute. And I'm going to back these first. So this is where I keep like the backing material that I'm working with the most right now. I'm looking like I would like to do this in white leather, but it's kind of thick. That's kind of a thicker piece. So, because with these, you also have to put the post in through the leather, or at least I do. You don't have to do anything, you know? So I think for the pink ones, I am going to use, oh, we have a little piece here. Hold on to that. So this is vinyl. Normally I use leather, but I found this coat at a thrift store, and it was this lovely, like, dusty, dark pink color. And so I've been using it as backing, and I really like it. And it's, you know, use so little of it at a time, like it lasts for a long time too. I think I'll back the purple ones in these also, in this also. Maybe this leather is a little thinner. That's thick. I think this part here especially is thinner. And this leather came from Crazy Crow Trading Post. Is that the name of it? Crazy Crow? I think so. They sell like indigenous supplies for crafting and beadwork and all that. They sell hides and things. But this is they have a craft bundle, or they used to. And so you get a pound of leather for like a nominal price. And it's just offcuts, things that they, you know, cut and used and they couldn't use them anymore, but like maybe you can. And so I've also found that to be very helpful. We used it quite a bit, you know, and sometimes you get like these marks, and so you just have to work around it, and it's still, even with what you lose from that part of it, it tends to still be like a pretty good deal, and you get like a good usable amount of leather. Yeah, see, because like you don't need very much to back this. Put all this stuff back. Okay, so when I'm backing pieces that are on posts, and you know, or anything where you have to put your findings through the leather, I like to trim these pretty close, so that way I know kind of exactly like where I'm putting the post. And there goes my dog barking. You know, because with these, it doesn't really matter like how much excess you have, how much you glue it, because you're going to cut all of it away and your findings will be added later after you do the edging. But with this, it needs to be a little closer. This is already pretty close, but I'm gonna get it a little more. It's pretty close, but luckily with leather you can kind of stretch it a little bit. So just checking to make sure, you know, there's no big marks or anything on the back of it, holes or whatever. Do that. And so, you know, now, so we use Eileen's tacky glue to back, and I'll spread the glue with an excess piece of beading foundation. I flip these over, and I have the knot at the bottom. These diamonds kind of have a slant to them, and so I want to make sure that I'm positioning them the way that I want the slant to go, and I do want that knot at the bottom. There's my knot. Yep. So that's something to keep in mind, is the orientation of your pieces when you're backing. And so I just want these kind of in between the top and the middle, and about even. So, because you want to make sure that you can put your stitches in around this when you're doing your edging. And then I take an awl, and put that through. Okay. And I might have to get another one of these. Whenever I'm putting posts on earrings, I do the Eileen's Tacky Glue, and then also Loctite Super Glue, just to keep everything in place. I forgot to do this part. Kind of scratch up the metal on the back, just to give the glue something to hold on to, instead of just sliding right off. Should have done that first. And so I can do that with these now before I forget. Ah. So just put enough of the tacky glue to cover the back. And I do this part first because the super glue sets really fast. So I like to have it all ready to go. And while you're doing this, you want to be mindful of your orientation still, like where the bottom and where the top is. So try not to turn it around in your fingers too much. And so this is the Loctite Super Glue. Just need just a drop. So I had enough in there. Pick it up. Being mindful of where the top and bottom is. Make sure that you're placing the post where you want it to go, and that you have enough clearance around the top, and then that the whole back is covered. And then I hold it for about 15 seconds. Okay. And then you repeat the process on the next one. So again, there's the bottom. You don't want too much glue that it's coming out the sides. You don't want it to actually get onto your beads at all. You just want it to hold your backing in place, so that way you can sew everything together when you do the edging. So that's why, like, you don't need super glue or E6000 for the whole thing. It just needs to stay in place while you sew everything together. Like, that's the important thing. And I just used the super glue on the post just because, like, you want to keep that your findings in place. You know, there's no way to sew the post on. And so I'll use this if I'm using regular posts or fingernail posts, or if I'm making like a pin with a pin back, I'll use super glue. And make sure you don't have any glue on your hands when you pick up the earring post. So, it's all in there, everything's covered. Your edge goes all the way around, or your backing material goes all the way around, and then yeah. Gonna hold it for 15 seconds, and I just realized that I can look at the timer on the phone as it's filming to make sure that I get a full time. Normally, I just sing the alphabet in my head, which is like longer. It's maybe 25 or 30 seconds, but maybe not. I don't know. How long does it take to sing the alphabet? Well, I've got it, I think. So, yeah, kind of pulled on that and have that edge there, but that's going to be cut off anyway. It's all excess. So, we're going to do that process all over again. And just want to make sure there's no big marks or anything. No. So this knot is at the top. How do I want this to lay? I think like that. And not at the top. Yeah. So this one, that knot's going to be at the top. Like that. That one, the knot's at the bottom. So the only one that I had to flip is this. So I've already scratched up the backs of these posts so that way the glue will stick. Just try to find that sweet spot kind of in the middle of the top. That makes sense. And then use your awl. There. And so, you know, just the regular awl. I think I got it from Beading and Powell Supplies, so powellsupplies.com. But usually any place that sells beads or whatever, you can find them. I'm sorry, my leg keeps hitting the table. And so, put a post in. You add the glue to the back of the piece. Sorry, I forget to keep it in frame. So sorry. Yeah. This is the one with the knot at the top. And then you hold it. And just double check, make sure everything is connected, that you don't have any glue seeping out from the edges. If you do get glue seeping out from the edges, just take the other end of a piece of fabric and kind of go like that along the seam to clear the glue out. And so swipe down that extra. I'll just need a little bit more for this one. Just make sure you get the edges, because that's where you want it to hold steady while you're sewing your edging. Setting it back down, making sure that the knot is where I want it to be, that it's oriented correctly. And then I think I need 2 hands for this. It's down to the very bottom, you know, but the stuff costs so much, you want to get every last little bit. Waste not, want not. That means you have to use 2 hands to get it out. Okay. Got my dog over here. Just kind of panting at me, so I don't know if you can hear that or not. Making her weird little sounds. Yep, like that. Hey, Gilly. Okay. So those are ready to set and then be edged. Normally I let them sit overnight, 24 hours. And so I use a sock filled with rice. And it looks like I can maybe use a new one. I've been using this one a long time. But that way you can sit them with the posts in. And then I gotta remember to leave room for these guys. So you put them like this, and then you add another sock with rice on top, and it holds it down. And so, let me move this back. And these, I'll kind of trim the excess away just so that they fit better while they're drying, you know, on that sock, and don't take up so much room. So just kind of round the corners off. So these are simple. It's just tacky glue on the back. Definitely not as involved as using the posts. I just grab a piece of foundation. You know, it's just excess. And you just make sure that it's not too much. That's gonna go there. These, you know, sing the alphabet in your head. Which is like 10-15 seconds. It's not that long. There's one. Oh. Back there. And so thank you so much if you've made it this far into part 2. I see it's already like 3 times the length of the first video. If you enjoyed this video, if you could give it a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. Please, thank you. You know, they help with the algorithm and getting this video in front of more people and hopefully more followers. So if you do like it, if you could subscribe, that would be awesome. The more people that like my videos and subscribe to my channel, the more it grows. Maybe, you know, just this is what I do. I do beadwork. It's what I enjoy. It's how I spend my days. It's how I earn my living, which is not much, but it's yeah, it's my life. So like and subscribe, share if you want. Just thank you so much. Yakuki. So there's the second one. I'll add these to the drying sock, if you will, and edge them tomorrow. I'll show you them when they're done. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so I hope you all have a great day. I hope you're staying cool out there. All right. Hachpi to Bye.